Cyn Doll here, coming at you with another video, and in this video I'm gonna be super real. This is part 2. Remember this? If you are thinking about getting into the field of cosmetology, currently in cosmetology school, just entered into the cosmetology field, maybe you've been a licensed cosmetologist for 10 years plus, maybe even 20 years plus, and you're trying to figure out how to transition out, this is the perfect video for you. But if you're easily offended by my rah-rah, then this is probably the time that I'm giving you a little bit of permission to sign off, because we're getting to some facts. Let's go.
Trust that exactly where you are is where you're meant to be. So keep your chin up so your crown doesn't fall. Remember, you're royalty.
Now, before we get started, why don't you go ahead and subscribe here to my channel and click on that bell notification so you're notified every single time I post another video. Let's get to these 3 steps. It's super simple. This 3-step salon entry plan is as follows: care, knowledge, and action. With these 3 things, you can enter and exit the cosmetology field with so much ease, and you can actually end with a full 6-figure business. Your care would be broken down like this: what is your passion and specialty? But for you to know what your specialty is, you don't want to just be randomly walking around throwing stuff up in the air like, oh, my specialties is to put pink starburst in people's hair. It's like, girl, nobody want pink starburst in their hair. What problem are you fixing? Because most of the time when you enter the hair industry, you're looking at what everybody else is already doing, and you're not going deep to really care. What is the current problem that is present in your field of passion, right? Because remember, step number 1 is figuring out what you're passionate about and what you care about the most. So what is the leading problem in the field that your passion lies? The second thing, what do the current leaders in the field that you are passionate about, what are they lacking, and what questions are they not answering? Number 3, which is the most important part, which part of whatever industry you are trying to be in, whether it's the hair industry, skin, nails, tattoos, but whatever, what is the part of that industry that triggers you the most? And this is what I mean by that. For example, is it the simple fact that hairstylists are no longer shampooing hair? They don't care about the scalp, they don't care about the follicle, things of that nature. That would be something that is considered a problem that you are seeing within the industry that you are passionate about, right? And the reason that I said it like this, which part of the industry is the thing that touches your emotional trigger, is because contrary to popular opinion, we are emotional beings. We get up in the morning and go to sleep depending on the way that we feel. Most of the time, the jobs that we have, the relationships that we stay in, all of the things that we do, the hairstylists that we pick, everything is dependent on a feeling, whether it's a feeling of like,
oh, she look cute, I wanna be like that.
Oh, she know. Oh, they know they need their butt whoop for using all that. He like that.
Those are all emotional triggers, right? So with you starting off in the industry with care, you know exactly which field and which compartment of the industry to go into. Your job is not to chase what everybody else on social media is doing. No, your job is to chase where is your emotional trigger in the beauty industry or whatever industry that you want to be in, right? So now we know the emotional trigger. We know the thing that's like, okay, I am getting into this industry and I am going to change this because it triggers me. I do not like it, and I know that I have a solution for it that no one else has, and if they do have it, they're not presenting it, so let me do it. Number 2 will be knowledge. Now that you know what the problem is, you don't want to jump into the industry being like everybody else, because trust and believe, you are not the only person with eyeballs and a brain and with passion. So you are not the first person that has noticed the problem. But obviously, if you don't see a solution, it is because no one has combined knowledge and experience together to induce the scientific method. In the field of cosmetology, my love, regardless of how anybody wants to look at it, you are a scientist. Before you even jump into anything, you need to figure out which part of the industry you want to be a part of. Once you finish step 1 with caring, right? Now it is time for you to apply that knowledge. But how do you do that? Well, you have to find the missing link. Once you find the missing link within your desired industry, you then become the expert. And this is where the money resides. The money resides with the expert. Now, this next part, a lot of people don't necessarily want to hear this because we like to have that argument on if whether or not cosmetology school is even necessary, which is...
Hey, do you think a brain surgeon really needs to go to school to learn how to operate on your brain?
And the main reason that most people have lost respect for people in the cosmetology field is because cosmetologists do not follow this process. Most people don't have the care part down packed. Most people are getting into the cosmetology field for money, not for passion, not for love of the hair industry or the human body. Because a lot of the people in the hair industry are people who just kind of got up and are in it for the money, it is really hard for you to figure out who is who. And because it's so hard for the everyday consumer to figure out who is who, it's very hard for the actual professional cosmetologist to figure out what the consumer actually wants. And so this is why focusing on the knowledge is most important, because fads always die out. But one thing that never loses its validity is science. Yes, science, sometimes things will change, but when you know the base, you can study the changes and make different edits when you need to. But if you don't have a foundation to start off with, you're always shooting in the dark. So number 1, in my opinion, the most important thing you should do is start off your business as a business and put yourself in a position to be legit legally, right? So go ahead, go to school, get you a cosmetology license and actually pay attention in school. You have certain cosmetologists that are like me, and you have some cosmetologists that you be
Like, girl, what? Put rice water on your hair.
those are the girls that were just at school just to pass their board so they can get out and make their money. But then you have other ones that were really there to learn, and they dove in and took complete and total advantage of the knowledge that was presented to them, right? So for you as a cosmetologist, whether you are already in the industry or whether you are about to get into the industry, it is imperative that you started off the right way. However you started is how it ends. If you start off as a little
Ooh, like, I don't know nothing, you can do it from YouTube, you come, I do a 2-for-1 special.
as you grow, your clients will still think that you're the 2-for-1 special girl. So start it the way that you want it to end. Start it as a business and it will remain a business, but you can only do that with proper education and the knowledge on how to structure things, all right? So next up will be mastering your craft, right? You have to master your craft, but before you can master your craft, you first have to figure out who are your customers. Most people, myself included, you get your cosmetology license.
You're like, girl, I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna do everything that there is to do. I'm gonna do everything.
But the truth is, you may not be passionate about everything. You may not love everything. And if you're not in love and passionate about stuff in the hair industry, it is so easy for you to fall out of love with it. If you don't have any structure, it is so easy for people to begin taking advantage and be disrespectful and all of that stuff. I'ma just be real. Doing online booking, taking deposits and things of that nature, this is all new, right? Forever, like since our grandmothers and great grandmothers were getting their hair done, they were all just able to walk in. You know, there were really no making appointments, and if they did make appointments, they could still be like,
Hey, girl, can you fit me in? Can you fit me in?
and hairstylists would work from 4 o'clock in the morning until their bodies literally broke down. That was the way that things went. But now, every year that goes by, every new generation of cosmetologists change the structure of things. But if you come straight into the industry knowing exactly what the problem is, judging from your triggers, then you will know who has these problems, right? And when you know who has these problems that meet your trigger, you can begin finding out where these people hang out at, what websites are they a part of, what blogs are they communicating on, and where are they searching for the problem that that you now know how to solve. Once you figure out what your trigger is, once you obtain the knowledge that addresses the trigger, then you have to figure out who the people are that are held victim to this trigger that you can help. And need to figure out where they are, which leads me to our very last step, which is action. Once you know the problem and who this problem is haunting, then you can set yourself up to be the solution. All right, this is where your expertise comes in. But I know that you're probably thinking at this point, oh, this is what you do at the end of your career. No, this is the things that you are doing before you ever book your first appointment. Now, I'll say for myself, it's not something that I did. Nobody taught me that. Everybody was just
like, get it how you live, girl, post it, and you do the specials, do it 2 for 1, do it 2 for 1 special.
I'm lying, not a 2 for 1 special, but like do discounts and all of those different things to draw people in. Like, they, for the most part, the way that they teach you how to advertise yourself and how to bring people in is to basically sell yourself to them, sell yourself as a product to people. But that's the mistake that you make in the cosmetology field. You do not sell yourself as a product. You sell yourself as a solution to a problem. That is what you are as a licensed cosmetologist, hairstylist, esthetician, barber, whatever, loctician, whatever it is that your field of expertise is in. You are the solution to the problem. You are not a service provider. They have an issue, you have the solution, and so for them to get that solution, they have to pay you for it, right? But you need to set up the proper system to let them know, so they can know exactly what they're getting and they can protect themselves. You can protect yourself, you can file it on your taxes, and everything is good. So how do we do that? It's set up an online booking system. Now, I know people are like, oh, technology this. Listen, stop it. Stop. Because you can order your food on Amazon from your phone. Okay, you can order your whole dinner on your phone. So stop it right now. I want everybody to pay attention to something. This is an example that I want to give you really quick. Someone who did these 3 steps, and because they did these 3 steps, they had the knowledge that they needed to change their situation into something way bigger. Okay, now Share is an amazing company, right? But this company's background is super dope because the owners are husband and wife, and they dressed in melanin for real. I'm sorry, I just got excited about my people, you know. So Share is really dope because let's say you are a person who has had your shop for a long time and you know the turnover is kind of annoying. Share is an app where you can log on and make your own profile for your own salon. And you can rent out your space for whatever fee you decide upon on their app. And then on the flip side, it's really great for cosmetologists who are transitioning out. Maybe you're like, okay, I don't really want to pay $360 for booth rent anymore because I only want to do hair maybe a couple of times a month. Then Share is something that you can go on and you can go ahead and rent out some space for a day, for a week, whatever the case may be. But this is a perfect example of what I mean. A man who was a licensed barber, who was in the industry for years and had already did the first step, caring. He already cared and loved the hair industry, right? And then with the knowledge that he had acquired throughout his career, and with him going back to school, because remember, every cosmetologist that you see, every barber, every esthetician is not just a barber or esthetician. A lot of us are going back to school in the midst of us still standing behind the chair so we can expand. Know that. So this man in particular went all the way through to get his PhD, so he has a doctor in front of his name now, right? So they went forward, him and his wife, they went forward and opened up this entire app based off the knowledge that they've gained from their caring about the hair industry, them both attaining knowledge about the hair industry that they were in. Not just like, oh, I'm booking clients. No, they knew who they were servicing, they knew the problems that they had and the problems that they were faced, and with their knowledge they were able to take action to create an app that feeds and fixes so many different problems. So in this case, now if you were to mimic that same exact type of mental mind frame, you could create so many different things. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, like an app like ShareShare, but ShareShare fixed a problem that they had. So for you, what is your problem? This is when you have to take action. You have to apply all of the knowledge that you learn and then structure it into a business. That's what it's all about. So for you, for an example, let's say you notice that a lot of women have balding and alopecia and all of these different things, and you know that it is coming from the treatment of their scalp, right? So the next thing you need to do is figure out what you need to do, what you need to say, what programs can you create, what services can you provide that fill this gap and fix this problem. But again, for my ladies that have been in the industry for years, right? You've already done all these things. You've already cared. You already have years and years of knowledge and data on all of your clients. So now it's time for you to take action in a completely different way. Now it is time for you to put all of your knowledge on paper. Make digital forms of the content. Make digital forms of the knowledge that you obtain. And basically what I'm saying is, girl, or boy, all of the knowledge that's in here, all of the different things that you've learned, put it on paper. If you cannot provide it as a tangible service, have other things that your clients can have, right? So you, as a cosmetologist that's sitting behind the chair, your clients need to always have access to you. Having a website is so important. Most people think having a website is just for booking appointments or just for selling products. No. Absolutely not. A website is a piece of the world, a piece of the internet that you own. Just like you will own a house on a block, when you have a website, the internet is the block, and your website is the house on the block that you own, all right? So it's super important. Have a website for your brand. And once you have a website, you can post your policy and procedures, your late policies, your all of that stuff. And the reason that I'm telling you to do it off rip on your website is because if you don't do it at the very beginning, you then have to go back and do it at the end. I am a person who didn't do it at the very beginning because I didn't know, right? I didn't know, so I had to go back and do it. Thank God I saw it like 5 years into, but I had to basically lose all of the clients that I had started off, like the ones that could call me at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Like, girl, can we do these? Oh, can you do it somewhere? Oh, how much is that?
Like, you literally have to weed them on out. So make sure you're starting off with prices that match your worth, not prices that are competitive and the lowest on the market. No, you don't do that. You know your worth based on the knowledge that you've obtained. You set your price, and that's what it is. Make sure that on your website you are explaining each service, giving a very, very clear and detailed breakdown with scientific knowledge attached to it to make your clients, not make them, but to help your clients better understand the services that you're providing and the prices associated with them. Collect emails. Collecting emails is one of the most important things that you can do. People sleep on email marketing, but girl, boy, bye. Collecting emails and phone numbers from your clients is one of the most important things that you can ever do, right? And this goes for everybody in every niche, in any industry. Collecting emails is everything, because the truth is this: every time somebody sits in your chair, they may not be every 2 week or every week or every month, or sometimes you'll see somebody and they'll only see you every 6 months. But I need you to remember that you have their email and their phone number, and you want to make sure that once somebody meets you, once they come across your content, they never stop coming across your content, right? So yes, you're a hairstylist, but if you want to be more than that, if you want to transition out, then you need to go ahead and have an email list, right? And with that email list, have a schedule for weekly to monthly newsletters that you're sending to all of your clients. And remember, it's not just a give but a take relationship. You want to be giving. So what are the things that your clients are always dealing with? Having a problem tying their hair up, have a problem wrapping it up. Most people are asking the same questions over and over again. So if you guys are paying attention, right, and really looking into the industry, you can find the answer answers for everything that you want. Once you take action and you do all of these steps, you guys, you have the combination for the most powerful functioning machine that you can trigger and re-up or calm and slow down whenever you want. This combination is the reason why after 15 years I can come in and out of the hair industry. I can go back and forth from behind the chair whenever I feel like it at will without my money fluctuating. Because when you set your business up as a well-oiled machine, you have so many different directions you can go. Standing behind the chair as a cosmetologist is the very first step into all of these different funnels, right? You hear about business funnels in so many other ways, but there is a funnel within the hair industry, and it starts with care, knowledge, and then action. Once you care, you apply the knowledge to that trigger that you care about, and then you take action, right? In part 2, I'm going to be telling you exactly how to take action.
Trust that exactly where you are is where you're meant to be. So keep your chin up so your crown doesn't fall. Remember, you're royalty.